We now come to our capstone conversation, and one that takes us really to the very center of global sports diplomacy. Soccer, or football, as many of us know it, today is far more than a game. It's a trillion-dollar global ecosystem that engages billions of people, shapes cities and economies, and serves as one of the most powerful platforms for dialogue between nations. It's my great pleasure to welcome my mentor, Secretary Henry M. Paulson, Jr., Chairman of the Paulson Institute. Hank really doesn't need much introduction to this crowd, but he's the former U.S. Treasury Secretary and was the savior of the global financial system, a world statesman, and a real leader in conservation globally. And what I'll add is that Hank understands sports not just as a fan, but as a practitioner. He's the co-owner of the Portland Timbers with his son, Merritt Paulson, and chairs the governance committee of the Major League Soccer Board. I'm also very honored to introduce Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA. Over the past 9 years, President Infantino has led one of the most significant transformations in global sport, strengthening governance, restoring financial stability, and expanding soccer's reach and responsibility across its members. Under his leadership, FIFA has become not only a steward of the world's largest games, but a global actor, working with governments and international institutions to harness soccer's power to unite, to engage, and to open doors where diplomacy alone cannot. So, this is the conversation our forum was building towards. Two problem solvers, two modern diplomats, discussing how soccer shapes international relations and human connection at a moment when common ground matters more than ever. Please join me in welcoming Secretary Paulson and President Gianni Infantino. Thank you.
Can you all hear me just fine? Yes. So, thank you. This is a real pleasure for me because this man is a hero for what he did. I know a little bit about crisis management, and he came into FIFA when there was a corrosive institutional crisis and restored credibility. And I'll tell you, that's one of the hardest things to do is restore credibility in an organization that's been around for a long time and it's got a proud culture. And so, Gianni, what I'm going to ask you is this. So you had success outside of the soccer world. In many ways, as an administrator and as a lawyer, you were there. How did that factor in, and what were the keys? What were the keys to your success? What did you have to do to restore credibility?
Well, hello everybody. First of all, good evening. Good evening. It's a great honor for me to be here with all of you. And after such an introduction, you said I'm a hero. I mean, this is something special. I mean, this is quite something. Huh? But some days I have to say I was almost feeling like one. I mean, it's true that when I came into FIFA, when I was elected president of FIFA, FIFA was probably in its worst situation. I don't like to speak about the past because, thanks God, it's the past and we can focus on the present and on the future, but FIFA was at that time really a toxic organization. Nobody wanted to come anywhere close to FIFA. We didn't have commercial partners. We didn't have even banks who wanted to work with FIFA. So it was complicated, and you know all what had happened with FIFA. And then, you know, when I was elected, we had to indeed restore the credibility. How do you do that? Well, of course, my background as a lawyer certainly helped a little bit, because even if after a while you are a lawyer, you forget kind of everything, more or less, but you still keep this sense of staying out of trouble, at least big trouble, yeah. Right? You maybe sometime still are still in little trouble, but you stay out of big trouble. You know what you have to do and not to do. And I think, probably the first thing you have to do is, well, don't steal, right?
Yeah.
Just don't steal. Make sure that the money that comes in to FIFA is a non-for-profit organization, you should know. So everything that comes in is reinvested in the game. So make sure that the money that comes in is coming in a transparent way, and it goes out in a transparent way, and it is, in fact, reinvested where it has to be reinvested in the game. So at the end, it's about, just working hard in an honest and transparent way, and that's the secret, if there is a secret.
Well, I will tell you something else. You have to be a first-rate communicator, and you do it. And you have to be authentic, right? People have to trust you. How do you restore trust? They have to have trust in you, right? And there's a real skill to doing that. And you did it, and boy, you were the right leader at the right time. So now,
Thanks.
I want to talk a bit about global soccer.
Can I say one more thing about that? Because that's something that, about
right.
what you were saying, about trust and building trust
yeah.
and credibility. Actually, there is one, one element which happened 2020, so 4 or 5 years ago. FIFA had all these issues, and a lot of money was seized from some corrupt FIFA officials, right? And I think for one of the first times in history, certainly for the first time in history for a sports organization, FIFA received back from the DOJ $201 million to be reinvested in the grassroots of the game. So this speaks volume, and this was actually discussed with 2 different administrations. So it's not one side or the other side, 2 different administrations, and both agreed that the new FIFA, our FIFA, should receive this money back to be reinvested in the game. So the trust was restored. There is no other entity, at least in Switzerland where FIFA is based, who usually they have to pay the DOJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got some money back, which is quite unique,
And
quite special.
That's a real skill. And the communication, one of the things I found when I was dealing at Treasury during the financial crisis, I'm not anybody that's heard me speak, I'm not a great public speaker, right? But you also need to do things one-on-one, with small groups, with the decision makers. I had to have the relationship with George Bush where he turned things, he trusted me, had to go to members of Congress and meet. And so what you did, you are a terrific public speaker, but one-on-one, you are really good. You see, to get those people, the U.S. Justice Department, to trust you, let me tell you, it isn't easy. There's a lot of CEOs of U.S. companies that thought they were doing that, and by God, they weren't. The Justice Department turned around and put a knife in their back. So let me tell you, that's quite an art. And so now, I want to, so most sports fans in the U.S., even those that believe football is played in the NFL, right? And they know soccer's bigger, and they refer to it as soccer globally. They know it's bigger. But I think most people don't have a real idea in the U.S., don't have an idea about the size and the scale of global soccer. So I would like you to talk a bit about the metrics, about the number of fans, about the media, the $1 trillion global ecosystem, right? Media, sponsors, infrastructure, and then all the money that goes into the local communities where it operates. So talk a bit about just the size and scale, the metrics of global soccer.
Yes. Maybe first of all, since you speak about soccer, maybe we can clarify one thing about, is it football or is it soccer? So I think this is right the right forum to clarify that once and for all.
Absolutely, right.
Okay, and then I speak about the metrics. So let me make this very clear. We, meaning all of us who are from outside of this beautiful country,
Yeah.
we call football a game that we play with our feet,
Right.
which is why we call it football, right?
Yeah.
You, in this beautiful country,
Yeah.
you call football a game you play with your hands. Now, I don't know who's right or who's wrong, but let's leave it open. You can call it soccer or football. You know, important is to have fun, right?
Yeah.
We understand each other.
And I tell you, that point is so true. I was trying to skip over that point because to us it's soccer, but it really is football. But now talk about the
metrics.
scale. Talk about the metrics.
No, the scale of football is massive. FIFA is an organization who has 211 member associations, so member countries. 211 is more than the UN. So we have more members than the United Nations. The global soccer or football economy is around 300 billion US dollars a year. And actually, to see how the potential for growth is of that, if you think that around 70% of these 300 billion is generated in Europe only, which in the global economy, Europe is probably more around 7 than 70%, right? This is the number one sport in the world, so the potential is extremely, extremely big. Also because from this 70% of the global soccer economy generated in Europe, 70% of the money to generate this economy in Europe comes from outside of Europe, from the US, from Asia, even from Africa, so from all over the world. So there is a huge potential, and of course the World Cup this World Cup here will contribute a lot to change that and to get investment so that we can move up to $500 billion or even $1 trillion as far as the global economy is concerned. When it comes to numbers, let's take the last World Cup. The last World Cup in Qatar was watched in the stadiums by around 3.5 million people. At home, it was 5 billion people for 64 games.
5 billion people.
Every game is a Super Bowl. Every game is a Super Bowl. We will have the World Cup here starting on 11th of June, where we'll have 104 games in 3 countries in 16 cities, Canada, Mexico, United States, 104 games in 39 days. This will be 104 Super Bowls in 39 days. In terms of media coverage, global media coverage, the final alone will have at least 2 billion viewers. The whole World Cup will have at least 6 billion viewers. These are numbers that the Super Bowl has, 120, 130 million viewers. So it is very important. And, you know, when I say Super Bowl, it's actually really a Super Bowl, especially for the participating countries. So if, I don't know, let's say Brazil is playing a game, and you go to Brazil whilst Brazil is playing a World Cup game, you see nobody on the street. There is no crime committed in Brazil during that 90 minutes of a game. Zero crime. The crimes go down.
Yeah.
The crimes go down. Don't be sick. Don't get sick during a football game in Brazil when Brazil is playing. Because if you go to the hospital, you will not find anyone. Everyone is watching the game as well. So it has a huge impact. It has a huge economic impact. It has a huge social impact. But it has also an impact in terms of the, how should I say, of the mindset of the people. There is no other sport where people feel like that. We win. We qualify for the World Cup. I had some African leaders, they were telling me, and Asian leaders as well, when they qualified for the World Cup, well, I'm so happy we qualified for the World Cup in November last year, because so until June next year, we have peace in our country, there is no civil riots, nothing happening, everyone is happy. The whole country is happy, because there is this feeling of we. It's not they, the team qualified or the team won a medal, it's we. So this whole feeling which transcends countries, unites countries from everywhere in the world is something truly, truly special.
So you've really got to my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. You can ask. So in terms of, you've got all this money and all these fans, and you've been making an effort to make sure that the benefits flow more broadly, not just to the soccer powerhouses.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about, build on your comment about bringing people together, across cultural politics, national boundaries, unifying, and talk a little bit about how you see your role as being a global statesman, a global ambassador, a unifier in chief, whatever you call it, because I really do think that's one of your roles. But start with, again, spreading the money so it doesn't just go to the powerhouse, and then talk about this idea of unifier and your role there.
Yes, well, I think FIFA has a unique role in this respect, because there is no other organization in the world. Every league, whether it's an American league of an American sport, or a European soccer league as well, or a South American soccer league, whatever revenues they generate, and they all tap on the same revenues, right? Sponsorship, broadcast, ticketing. These are the main revenue streams. All the revenues they generate is for them. If you are the Brazilian league or the English league or the Spanish league or the Italian league or the German league or the Champions League in Europe or whatever, and you generate revenues, well, the revenues are only for you and your top clubs. There is maybe a little bit of solidarity for teams in your country. For FIFA, it is completely different. FIFA generates its revenues from all over the world. So, for example, the next World Cup will generate around $11 billion in 1 month, which is again is quite special. But this money that we generate goes back. Half a billion, more or less 500 million, goes on prize money for the participating teams, but also there the starting fee is the same for everyone, 10.5 million for every team, whether you are Cape Verde or Curacao, or Germany or England or Brazil, you receive, or Argentina, you receive the same amount. But most importantly, we have established and we have created some solidarity programs whereby every one of these 211 countries in the world receives exactly the same share of these revenues to invest in building pitches, organizing competitions, open academies, create women's football competitions. And we boosted that in the last years. To give you, again, there an order of magnitude, I mean, in the last 10 years, we invested more than 5 billion in this solidarity programs. In the 110 years of history of FIFA before, it was less than 1 billion altogether. So we are increasing and we are investing and we are doing it in exactly the same way, whether you are in Oceania, whether you are in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, South or North America. And this is, I think, very important, because there are, out of these 211 countries, 150 countries in the world who would not be able to organize football or soccer in the way we know it without these grants, without this revenue.
Well, I see it because I travel around doing conservation work, and when I go into indigenous communities and so on, I go and I bring a soccer ball because these kids are playing. It's amazing what they're playing with, treating as soccer balls. Yep. You know, sometimes just a whole bunch of rags tied together and so on, but they all play it. You know, and you'll watch people, they'll be out working all day in the hot sun, and at night they come back and they play it. So right. Now I want you to personalize it a bit. Talk about your role as, I call it, sports unifier in chief, global statesman, whatever, ambassador, how you do that, because I think that's an important role of soccer, and it's something you're doing.
Oh, you're too kind. You are too kind to me. I don't deserve all these great titles. Somebody recently also called me the king of soccer.
I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
So at the Atlantic Council dinner, which Deborah's husband puts together, you got an award this year. The year before, you weren't getting the award, you were there. Okay, and I was sitting next to a head of state of an African country. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about, there was 3 or 4 heads of state there, there was Elon Musk there, and he said, who do you think is the most important person in this room? And I made the mistake, I didn't name you, I named a couple of others. And he said, no, that man's sitting right over there. He's the king of soccer. He's the most important, more important than any of those. So I wasn't going to tell that story, but get back to the unifier in chief, the ambassador.
Well, football really, or soccer really unites. It unites countries, it unites the world. I mean, in a competition like a World Cup, you bring people together from all over the world, and they come together in a peaceful way. And to be able to do that, of course, you need as well to include them, to be inclusive. I traveled in the last 10 years to around 180 countries. There are still a few more to go.
And he's flying overnight to Nicaragua.
Yes, I'm flying to Nicaragua and then after to London, actually. But because we have the first Women's Champions Cup of FIFA that we organized on Sunday. But before that, I have to go to Nicaragua. So you have to go to everyone, and you have to treat everyone in the same way. You have to treat everyone in the world with respect. With respect. You can agree or disagree. I don't agree with many leaders, politicians, policies in many countries. But if I need to go to see someone and I can obtain from this person that he builds a soccer pitch in a school for children to play, well, then I will go and I will do whatever it takes to get him to build that soccer pitch, because the result of that will be some happy children.
Yep.
And on top of that, I also truly believe, you were asking at the very beginning about the trust and the credibility of FIFA, and it's the same for this particular role that FIFA or the FIFA president has. You just have to be yourself. You have to be genuine. You have to confront people as well when you speak to them. And if you think that your arguments are better than theirs, well, then, try to convince them that yours are better. But if you don't manage, then, try at least to get something out for soccer.
Yeah, I have a term about a leader who serves, as opposed, your predecessor was king. He gave orders. And the humility you show, I think, is so important in a leader. Now, I want to move, you've already talked about the World Cup and about how big it is, but I want to hear from you sort of 3 things in any order you to talk about them. One is, what are your objectives? What are your metrics? What should you be looking to? Secondly, what should the host country, for the United States of America, what does that mean? And thirdly, I'm biased. I'm an owner of the Portland Timbers, a Major League Soccer team. And I want to say, do you think the World Cup, do you think the World Cup will increase the relevance, the standing, enhance Major League Soccer, that there's a chance for that to happen? So again, 3 questions there with the World Cup. You've told us all how huge it is, and it is. It's just amazing. But and I'm really looking forward to it. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to having played here. But so again, objectives for you, FIFA, what it means for the host country, and what it means for Major League Soccer in the U.S.
Well, the objectives for FIFA are to be able to organize the best and the biggest and the greatest, not just sporting event, but just show event, social event that humanity has ever seen, and it will be. And I tell you why it will be. Because, you know, in the past World Cups, we have some metrics to measure, of course, that. In the past 100 years of World Cup is every 4 years for 1 month. In 100 years of World Cup, FIFA sold more or less 50 million tickets altogether. Last World Cup was around 3.5 million tickets. And we received demands always for a little bit more than that. We started the ticket sales for this World Cup mid-December until mid-January, 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, we received 507.9 million ticket requests. 500 million ticket requests. 500 million. We could fill stadiums for the next 1,000 years of World Cups, if we were to. So what we do now, we make a draw, and a few lucky winners will get their tickets, and they have to pay for that, of course, as well. So it will be, of course, an economic success, commercial success, and that's important because we will reinvest everything in the game. But it has to be a social success as well. We want it to be peaceful. We want it to be joyful. We want people to come here and enjoy. And this is the magic of our game, I believe. We had in Qatar a game that I always remember, which was United States against Iran. And it was a decisive game in the group stage. The team that would win would go to the next round. The team that would lose would go home. So it was a decisive game. We were all worried about security. We were there. I was speaking with the government, Ministry of Interior, the police, and everything. The stadium was packed, 45,000. Was 15,000 Americans, 15,000 Iranians pro-regime, 15,000 Iranians anti-regime. And not one single incident. Everyone was happy. The US won. And the players, after the match, they hugged each other, and in respect, they all went back to the dressing room and so on. So it really does unite. And for me, if we have a celebration of people coming together from all over the world, these 500 million ticket requests come from all 211 countries of FIFA. We want to have people from everywhere in the world coming here, and we will have people from everywhere in the world coming here in this World Cup to enjoy peacefully and joyfully an event that brings people together. And our world needs events to bring people together. That's what we need.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for America, for the US in particular, for Canada and Mexico, who are the co-hosts as well, it's also interesting. You know, Canada, Mexico, and the US together are hosting this World Cup. You know, sometimes we forget that.
Yeah.
Canada, Mexico, and the US were bidding together for this World Cup. In a time when people were speaking about walls being built and so on between.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
No,
it's terrible.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
But still, thanks to our sport, you know,
I agree.
They were coming together.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So what is in for the US in this World Cup? Well, I believe that you know, it's very important for the US as well, who is the leading country in the world, to welcome the world.
Yeah.
And you know, we can say it, I can say it, you can say it, the president or former president or future presidents can say it as well. But the proof in the pudding will be the people who come.
Yep.
The people who come, the people who enjoy, and the people who see that actually this country is a welcoming country, because it has already people from everywhere who are here, second generation, third generation, first generation, and it will welcome the world in a way that no other country can welcome the world, because you have the world already here in America.
Yep.
Right? So it will be a true celebration. You connect this with FIFA, who is an official provider of happiness to mankind
Yeah.
since over 100 years. You know, the mix will be perfect.
Yeah, and I see it just with when the U.S. team plays. You know, whenever we play, you name it. We play Mexico, we play Brazil, we play wherever. They've got more fans than Americans because there's so many people here that are coming to see it. The other thing is, I think there are going to be people that really don't many more people don't understand soccer that are going to get to love it. My mother, who was a baseball fan, used to say how boring a game could be 1-0, right? And now I look at it and I say, by God, football, there's 11 minutes of action in 3 hours.
Yeah.
11 minutes of action.
American football.
American football. American football. But the real football, you know, you go for 100 minutes before you get the whole time.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. So now I want to talk about
the
the
MLS.
most important thing to me.
The MLS.
So MLS, how do you see that?
Okay, before the MLS, let me tell you a little story that happened to me this morning, since you mentioned baseball, and I found it. So I had a mayor of a city. There's the mayor's conference going on now. So I was there this morning. Mayor of a city who comes to me and somebody tells me, he's a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
And I tell him, how come? How can you be a baseball fan? You should be a soccer fan, right? Not a baseball fan. And he tells me, no, be careful, because baseball is the pastime of America. And I said, Mr. Mayor, I'm very happy to hear that it is the pastime, because the future time of America is soccer.
But actually, it's a pun on words, but it's actually true, because you look at the generational issue. Baseball should be worried because the people that watch it are people, you know, my age or in 60, and the young people don't watch
35.
baseball. It's boring, right? It's boring. It doesn't move fast enough. So now,
MLS.
Now the important MLS.
So MLS after the World Cup has to have the ambition to become the #1 league in the world. Has to. You are the #1 country in the world, Hank. You. How many Americans we have here in the room? Yeah, quite a few. You are the #1 country in the world. How can you be satisfied to be the number, 20 in the #1 sport in the world?
Yeah.
You have to be the #1.
But first we have to be #1 in our region, right? We have to be #1 over Latin America, clearly, you know, Mexico and North America and so on, right?
Yeah, but that's just a start.
I understand.
That is a start.
I understand.
And then, but you have the economy, you have the talent. The problem today is, for example, a kid who is 12, 13 years old, who is a good athlete, he doesn't see a pathway to glory if he plays soccer. So he switches to the other American sports, the pastimes and so on, because he thinks that this is the way he has to go. We have to show him, and this World Cup will show to this kid that actually, wow, guess what? There is a way to glory, to professionalism, and it's actually much, much, much bigger than the American sports because it is global.
And he's got to see a way, all of that, and a way to his pocketbook, these kids. And so what's happened is all the kids on the playground, all the black Americans from the inner city, they aspire to go to the NBA or the NFL. But I think what you'll see, we have turning it around, and the U.S. First has got to, be better in our immediate region of Mexico, and then we have to do it step by step. So anyway, but I'm really hoping that the World Cup will be a real boost here.
And we will co-boost.
Yeah, I know it.
Together.
I know it. And you've been a booster, and the fact is you're living in the U.S. So I'm going to ask you right now, before I get to the last question, how do you like living in the U.S.?
I love it. I love it.
Okay, because we love having you here. It really is good. I think that's going to do a lot for MLS and soccer in the U.S. having you live right here. Okay, so my last question is, I think, an interesting one. The world is changing dramatically. Technology is driving the change. I mean, it's moving very, very quickly. So we're looking at all these streaming and new media deals and digital rights deals, and it's making an impact in officiating. But as you look through all that, I know it's hard to sometimes, given the change, to even look 2 years ahead, let alone 10 years ahead. But as you look ahead to the decade in the future, what is going to be the key to FIFA and to maintaining its outstanding position, its relevance? What are you going to look to when you look to the future?
Well, we have to, give every talent everywhere in the world a chance to become a real superstar, whether it's a girl or a boy. We have the next Women's World Cup in Brazil next year, and the following one will be in the US in 2031. So, we have to continue working to make our sport, make football even more global than what it is. Because today, if you are born in some European countries in particular, you have many, many more chances to become a professional or a top professional than if you are born in many other parts of the world, including, sadly, in the US. Because in Europe, you don't pay if you want to play. Kids don't pay. Here you have to pay. So this is already a hurdle, a barrier that takes away a lot of young, talented kids. So we need to work on that to make our sport really global. We need to invest more in the women's game as well. I was saying that this will be crucial. We need to invest.
The U.S. has been a leader there, though. That's a bright spot.
Yes. The U.S. has been a leader there.
Others are catching up.
But exactly, the others are catching up. Because also there, everything is built and was built with the school system, the college system. And, before it was organized, you have these competitions last 3 months. Now Europe is catching up, Africa is catching up, South America is catching up. So we need to work harder and to work better. We need to embrace technology as well. I'm convinced about that. It helps already now, the referees with the video assistant refereeing and so on. It will help in future, I think, even more. And, and we have to always make our game better.
There, the U.S. led the way with VAR. MLS did, right? So there was a place where they did lead. Okay. Anyway, so I thank you. To me, this has been a terrific conversation.
Thank you.
And I think everybody gets to see what a big deal it is that FIFA has you as a leader. And so you're making a tremendous difference. And for all of those that love football or soccer, whatever we want to call it, I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And can I show you, maybe before we give the ball, let me show you one thing, which is the trophy, the World Cup. We have the World Cup trophy here.
Okay. I'm not going to be like our president and steal it, right?
You cannot. So this, let me turn it. We'll display it somewhere? We'll display it somewhere? Is it displayed somewhere? Where? Yeah, outside. It's displayed outside, so you can go and get your pictures and so on. Just one thing, nobody can touch it, except the FIFA president, this guy here next to me, because I didn't see it, and those who win it, of course. So we hope that the United States can win it so that the players can lift it on the 19th of July. Yeah? Let's see. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we have some gifts. This is the official match ball for the FIFA World Cup. This is for you because it has your name. You see,
Oh, my goodness.
Mr. Paulson.
Thank you. I've
Official match ball.
good, I've got granddaughters that are superb soccer players, and so I will love showing this to them. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And one more. Madame Deborah, this is for you as well, the official match ball of the World Cup. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.